activities back here that we're going to do, okay? So, there's the vital sign quiz that you can do, and I've given you all of the answers to that. There is,
How much time do you give them?
in class, I usually give them about 20 minutes to do it by themselves and answer as much as they can on their own, and then we do it together. If there's time, we do it together. There's an anatomy physiology questions. There's the medical terminology questions that we go over, just words, and I've given you guys the answers. And then there's the certification practice test. And I don't go over the medication certification practice test with them because since I pulled out one full day, I don't feel like it's something we have time for or that will really help them in their learning right now. Just to help them in the future if they want to learn more and go. So over here, I have your objectives for each day. And you can use these or you can just write them on the board. Totally up to you. Day one, we're going to get to know each other. We're going to learn basic MA skills like communication, vital signs, rooming, and flow. We're going to learn to be professionals. We're going to understand what the MA scope of practice is. And we're going to start learning basic medical terminology. Day two, they've now read everything in anatomy and physiology before they come to class. Okay, so they have a basic understanding. We're going to gain a basic understanding of body systems, anatomy, and physiology to help with the understanding of issues that we see in our clinics. Day three, we're going to review anatomy, physiology. We're going to learn medical math. We're going to learn safety issues when giving medications like scanning and 2 patient identifiers. And we're going to learn proper injection sites and learn about medical ethics. And day four, we're going to learn correct medication administration. We're going to learn about safety with sharps. We're going to learn correct techniques for giving injections. And we're going to review our overall learning from what we've learned in our course. There are a few other things that I have for you guys to use that are listed in your facilitator's guide too. So the medical terminology cards that we used to use in second day orientation, I've gone through all of them so that they have matches and they're not wrong. So a red matches a black and I just do it by teams. I set this room up in classroom style, okay? And I have the instructors or anybody that's helping sit at the very back and everyone else sits forward. I have these 10 cards for them to fill out that fold and put their name at their place, and I ask them to write the name they go by, front and back, so that both whoever's instructing from the front and those behind them can see their names, so we're learning each other's. And I set it up with their books and everything the first day. I have everything on there. Every day at the beginning of class, I make sure that I have an evaluation at everybody's place. So that, and this says, what did you like most about the course? What did you not like? What suggestions do you have for the instructor? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, how do you rate today and why? And they're really good at answering this. And I tell them right from the word go, I don't care if you like your instructors or not. You know, you may really love your instructors. That's not what I want you evaluating here. I want you evaluating content, you know. Before they come to class, they have to do a survey that is on a monkey survey, or what do you call it? Survey Monkey, yeah. Survey Monkey, to get a little bit of information about them before they come. And then the survey at the end, I have them take after this class. In that, I do ask them to evaluate who was your favorite teacher, why, you know, what did they do that made them stand out, those type of things, because I want you guys to have your training, be able to evaluate a little bit how you do so that you can figure out how to be better at what you do or give you suggestions from what they've said about other instructors. When I first started training, I sucked. I did, I'm not kidding. And I would teach and have people evaluate me. I would have people that I knew were really good educators that I just totally loved, and I would invite them to come and evaluate me, and that probably helped me more than any single solitary thing I did. So one of the things I am going to do over the next 2 months when you guys are teaching this class is just make some notes about things that you can do. to improve your training, or to be a little more. Number one is, don't just read out of the book. Don't just read a PowerPoint. After this class last time, one of the guys said, I'm not gonna use all these games and cards Anne's given us. I'm just gonna read the information out of the book to her. Well, they can do that themselves, okay? They're not gonna learn anything. The reason I have activities sparsed in between everything else is because an adult, as an adult learner, and you guys know this because you're adults, you have to see, hear, read, do something at least 7 times before you actually start to remember it. And so I want them to have as much hands-on as possible, but I want to reinforce all that teaching at least 7 times before I send them out of this class too. And I give them things. I emailed their, some of the managers, you may have seen some of the emails I send to managers. I ask them to evaluate and to send back. Have you seen an improvement? Are there other things that are going on? And there are some managers that have said, this MA is horrible, she learned this and this and this in your class, come and talk to me. And I've gone and talked to the managers, and she didn't learn those things from me. Those are just plain laziness things that they're doing. So, and I don't teach laziness. So we will sit down with the MA and she'll say, oh, yeah, you didn't really. I want them to take accountability for what they learn and what they don't. I also have, this is an anatomics game, which I purchased. I made a few copies of the cards to use in our class. But this is, it has a question, and it'll give you 3 answers. And the answer that's the real answer is bolded and underlined. So what they'll do is, like, they would split in half, and one of them take half on their team, and they ask these questions of each other. So the person that's asking the question knows what the answer is. She's got that card in front of her, and then the other one takes turns doing it. So those are just a couple of things I have them do. I have these cards that I used to let them take home, but I don't anymore. They're the immunization flashcards. We go through these because I want them to realize how many immunizations, their names are so similar to each other, and how careful you have to be. And I know in a lot of the clinics that I have visited, they have these in their medication room up on the board so people can look at them and know. And I love these cards because they tell you what needles to use, if it needs to have a dilute with it, how long it's okay once it's been drawn up, all those kind of things. I realize that we're buying more and more pre-drawn up immunizations for our clinics, which I love because they're safer, but they still understanding what it is and what the name is and getting those right. I mean, it's kind of frustrating that they're all so similar to each other. I wish they were. So I have those. So what questions do you guys have for me about this class?
On this page it says she's oral pharmacy scenarios. I don't know which ones those are. Is that the
Those
critical
are these.
thinking exercise?
This is they're up
Oh,
here.
the ones
and
up there.
laminated
Okay.
For you, okay?
Where do you store all this? So when it goes to the ESC, will all go to
When it
that
goes to the
closet?
ESC, it'll all go to the closet. And the thing is, at ESC, it'll be a little, I can rearrange it a little bit because we're not using as much as we used to for secondary orientation. I will make sure that whoever takes over for me will continue to make sure they have water and the snacks for the classes and that kind of thing. Now, in my pre-survey that goes out to everybody, I not only ask their managers and them when I send an email out, that's part of the pre-survey when they do their monkey, survey monkey, is do you have any allergies, food, issues, that kind of stuff. I've had gluten-free, which is not that difficult to work around, and I've had melon, and that's not that difficult to work around. Nuts, and I have one this coming class that's nuts. I've only had one class so far where we couldn't do nuts. Nuts is a big one. You have to really read labels and make sure that you don't, because even if it's in the air, they can get stuff from it. So something I spent this morning reading labels at Costco to make sure we didn't have. I have sodas of all different kinds over here, and I provide water. Here we have the ice machine and kitchen right next door. If they bring their own lunches, they can put in the fridge there. At the Employee Service Center, they can use the fridge that's down in the little kitchenette to put their lunches in. There's the ice machine and water machine there. I took home my coffee machine that I was leaving here because too few people use it. it's so much work that I just decided it's an expense and stuff we could get rid of. And since they're my personal ones, I just took them off. So I'm only providing soda and water.
Lunch is provided on the last day?
Lunch is provided every day.
Oh, if they wanna bring their own.
If they want to bring their own, it's okay. But I provide lunch, and I have it delivered around 11:30 each time. And sometimes it's not delivered, I have to go pick it up depending on who lunch is doing it from, but I'll be here to help with all of that. So you guys won't have to worry about that initially. After I leave, my new partner will take that over, or Cynthia Anderson, who is my boss's admin assistant, will do it for us. So it'll be taken care of, so whoever's teaching doesn't need to worry about that. What they do need to worry about is keeping track of, do we need more something and get it ordered or whatever, okay? Also at the Employee Service Center, they're allowed to use the coffee, hot chocolate, tea that's in the break room. It's for any employees, and they're all employees, so we can utilize that if we get to. So I provide lunch. I give them at least a 15-minute break in the morning, mid-morning, and mid-afternoon. And part of that is because I don't want, these chairs are more comfortable than the ones at the Employee Service Center, but no one should sit that long. And so I tell them on a regular basis, sitting is the new smoking, so get up and move, even if it's to move against the wall. I tell them while I'm teaching, if they need to stand up, we're adults, they can stand up. The bathrooms for this place are right across the hall from the elevators, and you know where they are at Employee Service Center. And the rooms we have at Employee Service Center are about this size. It's room 5 and room 10. They're about this size too. So we should be able to set up classroom style in those rooms also. And they also both have TV screens like this.
How many do you usually have in each section?
I will only allow 16 in a class. I've had more than that, and it just gets too crowded and too hard to deal with. So I limit it to 16. So right now, we have 16 that will start that first week of October, and I know you're leading that first day. I'll be here to help you. And the November class is half full. The January class has 3 people signed up for it. I get now all of the lists from people's new employee orientations when they go to NEO, so I can get a